Hello and welcome. It's the best time of the year. It's player profile and projection season. This is a little something we started back in the winter of 2018 in Denver, Colorado at Jake's apartment complex. And this is 18, 19, 20, 21. The fifth. This is our fifth season doing player profile and projections. Unbelievable.
I don't even recognize these guys.
That's incredible. We started in a small, cubicle space on the lobby of Jake's apartment that smelled like sandwiches by the end. It smelled terrible.
Bad.
In December of 2017, really. But it was for the 2018 season. Anyway.
Who have we done every year? Monty?
Judge.
Sevy, or was he hurt?
Sevy might have gotten some half a couple years. But Judge, Monty, every year.
That's love, yo.
Is that all? Chapman?
Chappie.
Okay. Well, today's is Gerrit Cole, the ace of the staff. And a little note, if you're going to be tuning into every PPP, a little different this year because we couldn't do an episode a day every day until opening day because we got thrown a loop. We had no idea when this was starting. And then we got 3 weeks. It's incredible. So some will be scrunched. The bullpen guys will be one giant episode, or I don't even know if we told BBD this.
Yeah.
I looked at the doc and saw the changes.
We're splitting up top end to 2 bullpen episodes, blah, blah, blah. You'll figure it out as we go. I don't want to waste any more time, Jake. Gerrit Cole, you like him?
Jim, how funny is it that our first PPP, we're doing our number one?
Yes.
Our number one starter. Isn't that funny? This is all brought to you by Warehouse Games. Go watch us on there dominate.
The Warehouse Games YouTube channel, lots of good stuff. Our own seasons, our own through lines. Tournament for 10K coming to a close. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you are entered to win $1,000.
Whoops. Gerrit Allen Cole, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Whew, didn't have that. Shout out. We got some pretty cool research sheets set up. Also, if you're podcast only, if you want to check out the YouTube, we're going to have some images and stuff up. How about that? Jim, Gerrit Cole is the Yankees ace.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting year last year. Got a lot of crapola during sticky stuff time. He kind of became the example. He was good after, including a dominant start against the Astros right after that. The numbers were down a little bit overall. But he's still Gerrit Cole. You're comparing him to the game's best pitchers. I love this stat early on from Erica and Max. 870 innings pitched since 2017. That's number one. That's pretty good.
I like that stat. I have a picture if BBD wants to show it of him being hot in the Pirates.
Oh, wow.
For the YouTube crowd who are giving some visuals for it.
Wow.
I like that stat, Jake, until a couple lines later on our sheet when he blames being worn out on his lackluster playoff down the stretch performance.
Last year?
Yeah.
He's hurt. He's hurt, and he's going to lie about that until his book comes out.
Oh, okay.
So I'm over that.
Okay.
He was hurt. He shouldn't have pitched that game.
The wild card game.
Yes.
All right. Easier to swallow then, because I think he said, he did say I'm not going to make excuse, blah, 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 but he said fatigue played a role.
Yeah. Fatigue and, what was it, his hammy?
Hammy.
Yeah.
Pulled his hammy. Yeah. I mean, the sticky stuff, you mentioned that. He did have his best game of the season when his spin rate was the lowest against the Astros, where he struck out 12, gave up 3 hits, 129 pitches. It was awesome. It got ruined the next day. Whatever. I'm talking about that. I mean,
have we said his overall stat line from last year?
No. Hit us with it.
181.1 innings pitched, 3.23 ERA, a 1.06 WHIP. He ended up being the Cy Young runner-up. So again, we have this high bar for Gerrit Cole. As well we should. Dude got a lot of money.
It's a little too high.
Dude was
It's a little too high
second in
from
the
non-Yankees fans. Like non-Yankees fans are like, oh, how's Gerrit Cole working out for you? And it's like, well, pretty fucking good, dude.
Really
he finished
good.
4th in the Cy Young, then 2nd in the Cy Young. Like, he's been worth it.
Yeah, I mean, 42 starts for the Yankees to the tune of a 3.11 ERA, 23-11.
Now, can he not be dealing with fatigue?
Right.
Or an injury in the postseason again? Yeah, he can't have back-to-back duds in the postseason. Cannot do it. He can have a mediocre season and dominate in the postseason, but he cannot have a if he places 2nd in the Cy Young and then is one and done in the wild card again, or like one start, it'll be tougher times everywhere. It'll be like, hey man, like that's not what we need.
It'll get loud around Cole. Some of it'll be fair. Some of it'll be not fair. Like, again, there's people that look at, I'll stop saying again, people that look at Gerrit Cole's last year as like a down, not great year. He finished 2nd in the AL.
But he was good in the postseason in 2020.
He was hurt. I'm over it. I'm putting that in my rear view.
It's in the rear view. So what do you got for this year, Jake? What do you expect?
What do I have for this year, Gerrit Cole? Man, it sounds almost unfair, but like a top 5 Cy Young season. He's done that the past 4 years.
Okay.
He's done that the past 4 years. So, there's a lot of wiggle there.
Now we did see with the spin rate stuff and the sticky stuff, and maybe that's not the reason, but if you look at his pitch mix, the 4-seam fastball came down for the first time in a while from 52% to 47%. And in turn, like a lot of the other Yankees pitchers, the changeup came up 5.6 to 14%. But I don't know. I believe that might have been early on. I feel like he scratched the changeup as the games went on. But wow, he really jumped it back up towards the end if you look at his game by game. So I'm interested to see if that's the pitch that he likes. I remember the famous quote. We threw a 90-mile-per-hour changeup, and Lindsay Adler asked him, and she said, how? And he was like, how? Oh, she asked me how. What's it?
Yeah, and the changeup, it wasn't a gimmick or anything. Like the changeup became a strikeout pitch of sorts. I remember us almost asking for more changeups at a certain point because Cole had been, kind of the power 4-seam fastball with the slider and the curveball that he would work in. That changeup, and normally changeup works against the opposite batter. Might have to dig into those a little bit, but the changeup became a very real pitch for Gerrit Cole, which, as we go further into this monster contract that he got, the more tricks and veteran stuff he adds to his tool bag is going to add to his length and our experience as Gerrit Cole, the Yankee. Gerrit Cole's one of the best pitchers in baseball. There's no reason to expect otherwise.
Yeah, the changeup had a 211 batting average against and a 179 expected batting average against, 33% whiff rate. So it wasn't a show me changeup. It was like I'm going to use this to get you out pitch.
And we saw that a little bit throughout the staff. I know we had conversations last year, Matt Blake's changeup crew.
Yeah, all those pitches are good. I mean, the slider was still his best swing and miss with a 40% whiff rate. So I'm not expecting that much different. I mean, I'm expecting him to just rinse repeat, which I don't know if that's comforting or scary for him or whatever.
I guess, yeah, it's a little scary because to have that expectation on any baseball player is tough, but he has earned that. And I guess if we are doing some early spin zones, which we haven't fully thought about this Yankees team through and through, in theory, the team defense should be better. Donaldson, Gio's kind of a wash-ish, we think. IKF at short, as we record this for now, is an upgrade. Whoever's at second that's kind of their position. First base or full season of Rizzo should be right. Our catchers should be upgrades defensively. Gallo and Judge are nasty. We'll see what happens with Hicks and everyone. He always had
Higgy anyway, so.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see what goes on there, but I guess that could be your spin. If Gerrit Cole still throws like Gerrit Cole, you could see just some general increases by some help defensively.
Yes, he's a strikeout pitcher, so and fly ball. Did the home run hurt him as much last year? We probably were talking about that after 2020, where so many 8-hole hitters just got clipped him. I'm trying to remember last year now.
24 last year.
Like, what were our concerns with Cole? I mean, there was the sticky stuff.
At least raw home run numbers, he's down half a home run per 9.
Okay. Hell yeah. Half a home run.
Hell yes.
His last 3 years, home runs per 9, 1.2, 1.7, 1.2.
Oh, you know what I'd like to do, Jake? That might be a fun exercise.
Yeah.
Who are some new additions to the Blue Jays and the Red Sox? I mean, obviously Trevor Story.
Trevor Story to the Red Sox, and for the Blue Jays, it's Matt Chapman.
Like, do we have any thorns in our side here with Cole? Like, is Choi still around? G-Man?
Yeah.
So let's just look at the new additions. Matt Chapman, 200 batting average. He is 4 for 20 with 1 homer.
10 strikeouts. Strikes out in half the at-bats.
10 strikeouts. So no real bugaboos there. Trevor Story, 2 for 12 with 1 homer and 4 strikeouts.
Okay. So they'll each get him once this year, but otherwise he'll be pretty good against him.
Yes. Now, the other split, if we're like doing deep dives, was he's bad at Fenway, right? Like in his career.
I'll double check.
I believe that was like going in the wild card. There was like one of the storylines that was growing was Gerrit Cole cannot pitch at Fenway.
Let's see. Gerrit Cole against the Red Sox or just Fenway?
I have Fenway. He's got a 5 ERA in 6 games started. 5.06 in 6 games started.
Okay, Boston Red Sox career 10 starts, a 3.81. So, he's got some really dominant numbers against other teams that ends up being
last year 3 games, 6 ERA, not including the wild card. So yeah, maybe that is. I mean, I'll tell you this, Jake. If the first game in Fenway, if he doesn't have a good start,
yeah.
If he has a 5-3, even if he has a 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, like just a non-ace start, a non-Cole start, I think it's loud.
Okay. Interested to see. I wonder if there's growth there too. I know like David Cohn's talked about it, that pitching at Fenway it's mental warfare on a pitcher. Like kind of parts of your arsenal are taken away. So maybe there's some evolving there as well.
He went 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 5 innings pitched, 3, 6 innings pitched, 3 this year. They lost 2 of the 3.
Man, his slider heat map on Baseball Savant is pretty cool.
I got it. Let's see.
It's because like a lot of the heat maps, so the slider there. It's funny. It's all the corner.
He can spot it. He can put it where he wants.
That's crazy.
Fastball, the zone.
Right. Well, I feel like you normally look at these and it's usually middle is red. His slider inside to lefties gets hit.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's
outside to righties.
It's like back foot to lefties and then swinging away for righties.
How about that?
Change-ups mostly low.
Because the curveball and fastball are exactly what you'd expect. If it's in the middle, it pretty much gets hit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Red means it gets hit?
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes. Okay. Gerrit Cole.
Do you want to hear what Baseball Reference has his season projected to be?
Sure.
This is always a fun conversation. Baseball Reference says that he, in his 31-year-old season, will have a 14-7 record with a 3.34 ERA. Now, Baseball Reference is always very conservative with their ERAs because they don't want to be like wrong the wrong way, but that's still a wildly low ERA to project.
For your average projection.
Yeah.
because that means he could stray both ways.
With a fairly high reliability.
Yeah, with a 75% reliability.
I mean, that kind of shows how much of a stud this dude really is. All that being said, 3.34, that would be his highest ERA in 5 years.
Yeah. He's pretty good, huh?
Yeah. He's really good. We
Cy Young votes in the last 4 seasons.
I mean, top 5. That's where the bar is set there. And it's tough for Gerrit, but it's what he signed up for. So, that's where my expectations is to be a top 5 starter in the AL.
What would upset you?
Interesting. Honestly, this is where ERA gets tricky, right? Because you just need Cole to be consistent. If he has the 3 Tanaka blow-up games a year, don't really care. But if every 5th day outside of that, he's giving you the effort you need, the minimum 5 innings, the couple lights-out outings to reset your bullpen and do that, that's fine. So that's where it gets tricky with ERA. I mean, high 3s, again, doesn't sound like Gerrit Cole, but that could also be a really strong season for him. So you almost need, we talk about hitters being scary a lot. We need the feeling of Gerrit Cole to be right. I would much rather have Gerrit Cole be, really good starts, a couple blow-ups, than being 5 2/3, 3 runs, every couple starts. Gerrit kind of can't do that for us.
Yeah, I guess my ask, because he's been so good, but the bugaboos has been at Fenway, and I feel like against the Rays.
Okay.
The Rays, I think, have gotten to him a lot. Where I don't think and I'm kind of getting back into my brain from last year, which I blacked out. I feel like the Rays aren't scared of Cole at all.
Well, they had G-Man.
But I think
they had G-Man, and Zanino's got him once or twice.
Didn't Belau hit 2 homers off him?
Belau.
I feel like they started doing some stuff last year, at least a couple times, where it's everyone knows the G-Man thing, but they still would just not start him, and that felt like even more warfare. They just had us in mental pretzels.
And yeah. I guess here's my thing with Cole.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last year, first game against him, 5 earned runs. No, first game against him, actually 8 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. Great.
That's good.
Next game, 6.1, 3 runs, 2 earned. Then in June, 5 innings pitched, 5 earned runs. July, 5.1, 7 earned runs.
Got him.
So I'd like him to start beating the Rays because they're a good team. And then I'd like him to have a bunch of stopper starts.
Okay.
He has given us 2 complete games in his last 2 seasons with the Yankees. And I'd like those to come at times when the bullpen really needs a rest. Where he has that Sabathia in him where he's
today's the day.
I will eat this game.
Today's the day.
Because I know what's going on in the bullpen right now.
I'm getting the ball to Licky.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a couple times where we thought we needed that, or it was a 7-inning doubleheader. Yeah. Where Cole could just do it, and he never did it. That being said, he finished second in the Cy Young in an amazing season. So I'm searching deep for things to get better.
That's where I was just going to go, Jimmy. I have the Cy Young in front of us, the Cy Young voting from last year. Robbie Ray, Gerrit Cole, Lance Lynn, Nathan Eovaldi, Carlos Rodon, Frankie Montas, Lance McCullers Jr., Liam Hendricks, Jose Barrios, Bassett. Those are the top 10. Tell me who of those guys that you can guarantee is going to have a better season than Gerrit Cole. The answer is 0. A lot of those guys are really good, and they can have better seasons, like Robbie Ray did last year. But Gerrit Cole is upper echelon. A lot of Yankee fans wanted to bicker Cole DeGrom. Don't think that's worth it when DeGrom's healthy. He's pretty gross. But Gerrit Cole is rare air. He's the one the Yankees have wanted. And he does have the potential. We've done a lot of worst case stuff. Gerrit Cole could easily win the Cy, have an ERA in the high 2s, which again is nuts. That's incredible season. And that wouldn't surprise anyone. So,
do we have an over-under? Max is fun. For those who are listening to player profile and projections, we profiled him.
yeah.
And we projected him. And now Max has given us a fun over-under that we will track and we will keep track of. What is it for Mr. Cole?
Max's over-under for Gerrit Cole. Over-under 2.5 place finish in the Cy Young race. So will he finish top 2?
Oh, I wish he said top 3. If he said top 3, I'm taking the under.
It's a good line. It's a good line.
He noted in our doc that first and second he considers over under. We know what we're talking about here.
Yeah. Now, are we putting money on this? Like you tell me I'm putting $10 on this. You tell me I have to put 100. How serious do you think the fan wants us to like actually consider these over-unders?
So this is what I'd say. Like we've gone pretty deep into the DraftKings world.
Mm-hmm.
If this was a real bet, like the payout would be higher on yes, he'll finish first and second. Like that would be 10 to win 20, where the other would be. It's hard to do. To be the top 2 pitcher in the league is really hard to do. First PPP. I mean, I'm taking it.
You're taking the under?
I'm taking the over.
Wouldn't that be like 3,
That's
4, 5?
what
Taking
PPP was
the-
just established.
Yeah, in here he designated like first or second is over because like it's the better finish. Over-under is a tough way to phrase
It's a tough way to phrase it.
this
for
question.
sure.
Yeah, for sure, because the under would be the
It
1
should
and
be
2.
will Gerrit Cole be a top 2 Cy Young finisher? Yes or no?
I'm going to act like I have to put actual money on this
Right.
with even odds. Because you're right. The odds would make you want to bet this. So I'm going to say no. That's a high bar.
It's a really high bar.
And, he finished top 2 last year, and he always gets Cy Young votes. But top 2, you never know.
He
what's gonna happen.
we did our Cy Young draft and talking baseball at the time. Right now I can't find betting lines on DraftKings, but at the time he was kind of far and away the betting favorite in the AL. But because he just feels like such a lock to get votes.
Let us know at home. You got to put real money on it. It's not just for funsies.
I mean, Gerrit Cole is the favorite in the AL Cy Young, or excuse me, the wins leader, whatever the hell that is. And then Gossman, Barrios are next, and the odds are crazy. So Gerrit Cole's expectations are through the roof. And honestly, from the names I just read, I'm not scared. I know anyone could have a great baseball season, but Gerrit Cole's as safe as a bet as you can get to have a really good year.
There you have it. Gerrit Cole. You can find him opening day on the bump against the Red Sox.
Wow, spoilers.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
They're done with him.
What's that?
They're done with him. They don't want him opening day anymore.